Hey guys, great to have you here today. I'm gonna give you one of my absolute best drills to really compress that golf ball. I call this a $10,000 drill. The reason for that is it took me years and years. I guarantee I spent $10,000 on lessons and still didn't really understand how to compress it. I got a great drill for you. Me and Robin are gonna break it down for you piece by piece, and you're gonna be hitting it pure. Let's go ahead and get started. All right guys, so there's going to be two really important pieces to getting that pro quality compression on the golf ball to hit it really solid. The first one here, Robin's going to show you, we got to get open with our body. Our body has to lead the way in the downswing. So if Robin is going to go ahead and pause here where he'd be at contact, and you'll notice that his hips are going to be roughly 45, maybe even a little bit more than that open. His shoulders are going to be a little bit open. They look square at contact here, but we're going to talk about how they're actually a little bit more open than that. The reason this is so important, this is one of the two main pieces here, is that if my body's leading the way, that's going to create all this momentum. My hands are trailing behind. Now everything's really, really consistent, and then my hands are just catching up to my body. So my hands and arms are releasing, but they're just catching up to the body at impact. Then you're going to go ahead and follow on through. That's the big first piece. If my body stays closed and back, go ahead and show them one with your hips square and your shoulders kind of staying back. Now I have to take my hands and arms and try to force it in front and try to like push that club out in front of me. There's just no way to play golf great day in and day out doing that. The second piece here is when he goes to impact, you'll notice how his hands are leading the way. He's de-lofting this club. Go and pause there again. We're getting this great forward shaft lean that we can see. We can see that the face is nice and square by kind of rolling these hands square, and we're going to go over that here in a second. And then finally, we're going to talk about how we can get a nice shallow divot while this is happening. All right, now there's one really big myth. If we're going to get this body open, we'll work on the body here first. Go ahead and set up there like you'd be at impact.
All right.
When you're looking at this from down the line, you're going to see that his shoulders look like they're pretty square. So we find that pros' shoulders are anywhere from square to the target to maybe about 10, 12 degrees open at contact. That's talking from shoulder to shoulder there. Now the problem with that is very misleading. When I see that, I feel like I have to be square with my upper body. But in reality, if you go ahead and do that again, and now he's going to take his left arm off, we're going to see that his chest is actually really open. So once he takes his left shoulder back, because your shoulder can protract across your body, that's what's happening in impact. My shoulder's actually protracted like this. Once he takes that arm back, we'll see that his shirt buttons or his chest is actually about 30 degrees open. That's what the Tour Pro average is, about 30 degrees, 20 to 30 degrees. Definitely with the upper body is going to be key to have the upper body leading the way. So once you put that arm back down, now it looks square. But it's important to know that so we know, okay, my chest is actually opening up as I'm coming to contact, and it's leading the way. So that's the first piece there. We're going to give you some great drills to work on that here in a second. Now also you'll notice with the hands and arms, the second big myth here is that when you're at impact, you're going to see there's all this forward shaft lean, which is great. It's going to give the appearance that his hands are actually out here in front of his body. So if you're looking at it, it's going to look like his hands are racing in front of his body this way, and it would be in front of his shirt buttons. That's impossible to do. My body is rotating really quickly. My hands aren't going to be able to race out in front of it. So if I'm trying to get my hands in front of my body, there's no way for that to happen. So if he actually just keeps everything locked in here and squares up his hips, you'll actually see this is where he's at impact. So if I have my impact position here, hands look like they're in front, but in reality, when I open up my hips to where they normally are, they're actually behind my upper body. If you notice from this angle where we're 45 degrees in front here, go ahead and go back to impact again. Now we can see from this position where I'm facing his body, his hands are actually behind his upper body. So his hands are still trailing even though he's got some forward shaft lean. That's the second piece to it. Until I really understood that and how that works, it was just really tough to get in the right position and get forward shaft lean. I was always trying to kind of force my hands out here, and I could never make it happen. So if you've been trying to think, get your hands in front, then you're going to struggle. Your hands are actually going to be here at impact, and your body is leading the way to get your hands in front. All right, so now it's time for the drill. That's great to know, but you got to have an easy drill to make it just simple to do, and I got an awesome cheat for you. Go ahead and set up to like you normally hit a shot.
Okay.
And you'll notice here both feet are square. This ball's in his normal ball position. I want you to turn just your left foot out about 45 degrees. You'll see it's still the same ball position. Now I want you to bring your right foot up and match it to that front foot. So now essentially all he's done, he's forced his hips to go straight forward to where they'd be at impact, and then now he's going to go ahead and just address the ball like he normally would. So if you're looking at the ball position, it's probably off the right heel somewhere, and that general area is good. But the key here is both these feet, both the right foot and the left foot, have to be pointed forward in that 45-degree angle. Now what that's doing for you, that's forcing his hips to go ahead and open up, and it's forcing his shoulders to go ahead and open up where they have to be at contact. So if my feet are square, I kind of want to be more square. Forcing the feet open, now the hips and shoulders are going to do what they want to do. You'll also notice there is no way he can flip the club from there. So if you try to flip it, I mean, it's almost impossible.
It's impossible.
Yeah. So he's naturally going to get that forward shaft lean. One of the tricks here, though, is that as he's coming into contact, he's actually de-lofted this club by rolling his hands, and you can see the club face is square. Naturally, what people are going to do is they're going to end up doing something like this when they get their hands forward. That wrist is flat, and that face is wide open. You're going to block it a mile to the right, and you're really going to struggle. So let's go ahead and set up with it square again. I'm going to show them one thing to feel with the hands here. Okay. Go ahead and go to about where your hands were at contact. We were showing them there earlier with your 45 degrees back. So what he's doing here is this is where his hands are at contact without the hips being open. Instead of having the face open like this, you can see the toes straight up and down, he's going to roll those hands down. So he's twisting this club to square it up. You'll notice how when he does that, that left wrist bows. He covers the club with his right hand, like you hear all the pros talking about covering the ball, and that starts to square that face up to where it's pointing toward the ball. So go ahead and do that there, and now go ahead and just rotate back down to where you were at impact, and that's that great impact position. So let's put both of those together now. I want your feet to be together in 45 open. Now I want you to do a couple little drills to where you come to here, and then you're just going to work on not having that face open, but you're going to square it up like we talked about. Just a couple little practice kind of pump drills there, 2 or 3 of those just to get the feeling. And now we're going to hit some little shots here. And the key with this is as he hits these, he's going to feel like he hits a low draw. That's going to ensure that he's squaring that face up. So let's go ahead and hit 2 or 3. We'll see what it says on the flight scope here.
Okay.
Yeah, nice. Really, really low. So again, if you're struggling with forward shaft lean, you won't be struggling after this one because you're going to have 20, 25 degrees of it. And if we look at that ball, that was perfect. Your vertical launch on that was 8.6 degrees. So he's really got a lot of forward shaft lean on it. His dynamic loft, this club has about 34 degrees of normal loft on it. He had it lean so far forward that he had 11 degrees of loft on that club at impact. So he's really got a ton of forward shaft lean. Go ahead and try that a couple more times.
Okay.
And as he's doing that, I want that ball to turn over from right to left. I don't want to cheat and just hold it open and kind of slice across it. I want him to really, really compress it here. So let's go ahead and hit a couple more for me. And when you watch those slow motion videos that are playing, you'll see that he has a ton of forward shaft lean, and his body is naturally just going to go ahead and open on up. So we'll do one more.
Okay.
And the last thing I want you to feel here is when you're coming through, these are great, but these are getting a little steep into the ball. I want him to really feel like this left shoulder kind of clears out of the way. His chest gets nice and high as he's coming through, and that's going to keep you from digging too much while you're doing this. So this will be the exact same drill. He's just going to try to take a little bit less of a divot on this one.
All right.
There we go, great.
So if you get my full shot, that was nice.
Yeah, those things, I mean, they sounded crisp. You could really hear them. So now all we're going to do, it is a little tough to keep from coming slightly steep when the feet are like this. Now we're going to start to square the feet up and make this more like a normal swing. So whenever he gets his normal stance, he's still going to feel the hips and the shoulders opening up. He's still going to feel these hands turning that club face down to compress it. And then now it's going to be a little bit easier to get that shallow shot, and he's really going to be pure in this one. Yeah, awesome. So in that shot, still just a little tiny bit of a draw, almost straight as a string on that one. And just a nice easy swing. His dynamic loft on that one, see if it pops up here on the flight scope, 20.4, so that's about where you want to be. He's really getting a lot of forward shaft lean on that, and that's going to be so consistent. So if you open your body, you learn to de-loft that club, you got that pro move now, and now you got this cheat to actually get there. So do about 30 or 40 of those small swings with the feet open, nice little draw, and then do about 30 or 40 kind of going back and forth. Do one with the feet open, one with it normal. Try to get that same feeling on both the shots, and you're really going to be pure in it. All right guys, so I hope you all really enjoyed this video. One of the big keys to this was squaring up that face, getting those hands to de-loft, that left wrist to bow, the right hand to cover on top. That's what all the pros are doing. That can be a little bit tricky for most people to get the hang of that. Well, I have an awesome drill for this. It's called the tennis racket drill, and I'm going to play a preview of that here in 1 second. Once you see this video, you're going to easily be able to square up that face and shallow out the club at the same time. It's going to make golf so much more fun and so much easier. All you have to do to watch the full video is just go ahead and click the card that pops up on your screen or click the link down below in the description. Let's go ahead and get started, getting that move in your swing. Good player problems. We're going to talk about shallowing that club shaft out as we're starting down, as we're doing this rotating of the face that we worked on in the last video. As we start this downswing, what you'll see with basically all of the top players is instead of coming kind of over the top and letting the hands come out away from their body, letting the club come out away from their body, again coming down steep into the ball and then having to open up, kind of fillet open the face and add loft to it. The flattening of the shaft should happen as soon as we start down. So as we start this downswing, what we want to have happening here, you can imagine that if I draw a line from the hosel of my club up through my right elbow, that's my swing plane line, my elbow plane. As I go to the top of the swing, I'm going to be slightly above that. And then as I start down, I want my hands to start to shallow out. I want the club to shallow out inside of this elbow plane. And at the same time, I'm going to be rotating my hand.